remotely close. But the best pitching performance that we've seen since Kase Anderson in game one of the finals last year just happened. I think that I can make – look, regardless, I will retract this statement if somebody can find this – could say that there's been something better. Outside of maybe the no-hitter that Arkansas threw in the College World Series, I don't think – and I watch what I believe – I feel like I watch a lot of college baseball. I don't think I've seen a better performance by a starter in college baseball since Kase Anderson in game one of the College World Series final than what I saw tonight. You know, Kase Evans has kind of been going through it a little bit. He's struggled. I see a lot of people kind of firing back that he hadn't been. Guys, he'd struggled a little. Last week, he definitely struggled with finding the zone and finding location. Jay Johnson came out this week and stated, and I quote, "I would put my life on the line for that guy." Well, tonight, Kase Evans made Jay Johnson look like Nostradamus, because what they did differently, let me be careful. No, I think Ben kind of mentioned it too. No, Jay even kind of mentioned it. It was actually Jay that mentioned it. The change in some of the prep that they did with Kase Evans going in this one, changing some things up for him, clearly worked tonight for him. That was one of the best pitching performances that, quite frankly, guys, that you're going to see. And if that is the level of dude that you're going to get, you're dangerous. You are freaking dangerous, because you have a guy in game 3 who's just as dangerous. And you just did that to the number 8 team, and deservingly so, the number 8 team in the country in Oklahoma. Again, I feel like that, you know, a lot of people in March are watching college basketball, and rightfully so, not me. I watched some of it. I watched High Point beat Wisconsin today, whatever. I have not personally seen a better performance by anybody in college baseball outside of Kase Anderson's 9-game shutout in game one of the College World Series than I did tonight. It's not remotely close. That tonight was special. And I'm glad that a very talented young man who really had his back up against the wall, because you have another bad start tonight, then questions really start flying. Kase Evans was absolutely phenomenal against the top 10 team in the country. But nevertheless, we're live. Everyone do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. If I am and sound and my voice starts cracking, today is the opening day of T-ball practice. And your boy's out there coaching. And so if I am hoarse, I apologize. But when you're trying to round up a bunch of 5- and 6-year-olds, it's definitely a chore. Every AYS Sports Show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Download the FD Sportsbook app today. Use your mobile device in doing so. You got a lot of March Madness, as we just talked about, a lot of upsets that can happen. You can place those bets with our friends and partners over at FanDuel. There are 3 teams. Golly, this is going to be tough. There are 3 teams that I place bets on today: High Point, Texas, and Arkansas. Why I picked Arkansas randomly, I don't know. Did that with our good friends and partners over at FanDuel. Download the FD Sportsbook app today. Use your mobile device in doing so. Stand by. Anyway, we're glad to be powered and partnered by our good friends over at FanDuel. Download the FD Sportsbook app today. Sam Levitt, by the way, still plus 1,300 odds to win the Heisman Trophy. All right, everyone do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook, share to all those social media pages. Do us a favor. Subscribe down below. That's all I ask. do us a favor, subscribe down below. Doesn't really do anything to you, just tells you and gives you a notification that our content's up. That's all that it does. Only thing it does is it helps us. Hit that subscribe button. It will definitely go a long way. I had to go get my water. My voice is, I don't know if I'm going to make it through T-ball season this year. I barely made it through last year. All right. Let's get doing here. So if it's your first post game, I say this every time. We go through these in one-game sample sizes. Sometimes we differ things out in reference to how we play this out tonight. We're going to start off with the man of the hour, and that's Kase Evans. We're going to go through his start here tonight. So top of the first inning was as flawless as Kase Evans has been all season. He gets a ground ball into the shift to Stephen Milam. A 4-3 putout. Stephen Milam over into the shift. And then he gets Johnson, Brock, and Willits all to strike out. Now, you were like, well, Blake, that should be 4 outs. On Brock, you had the third drop strike. Kate Beatty is unable to find it, so you get a runner on. You don't get the third out. Regardless, Kase Evans showed, and I think anyone showed, just where he was. Now, Brock is one of, and we talked about this last night, Brock is one of the better hitters in the country, not just in the SEC. He's hit for a lot of power this year. He's got a 340 average. I mean, he is dominating at the plate. He has had a really good season, but so has Willits. And so when things don't go your way, as baseball does all the time, how are you going to respond to that? How are you going to respond when Kate Beatty has a ball in the dirt, he can't locate it, you get a strikeout, so now the inning continues? How are you going to react? So you technically do get 4 outs, not really, but you get 4 guys out, and you strike out the side after you give up the ground ball to Stephen Milam. You arguably got 3 of the best hitters in the SEC, and Cameron Johnson and Brock and in Willits, all to go down swinging. I look at the people who I was watching the game with, and they could attest. I looked at him and said, oh, he's on tonight. That changeup is disgusting. That curveball is disgusting. He's on one. The way he reacted in the first, after getting the strikeout, you had the drop third strike, you get a runner on first. He takes 4 pitches to get Willits out. Kase Evans was on one. Coming off of an appearance in inning 1 of last week where all you were doing was not being able to and not having the ability to find the zone. Tonight, he took a top end of the lineup that you and I discussed about yesterday. The guys, all of them hitting above 340, all of them, or at least a half part of their order in their lineup, has 54 of 59 stolen, or 54 of 59 in stolen bases on the season. This is a dangerous lineup that you're facing. They went up against A&M this past weekend and really took it to a really good Texas A&M team who was a top 25 team in their own right. And Kase Evans took the top of that lineup in the first and completely shoved. He would do the exact same thing in the second. He would get 2 quick ground balls to Trent Caraway. Now, let's take a timeout right there very quickly. Guys, we've seen Jay Johnson do this in the past. When Jay starts getting more hands-on, when things defensively start going bad. Trent Caraway tonight gets the start at second. John Pearson gets the start at third. But as we saw in the national title run in 2023, and as we saw in some other instances through Jay Johnson's career, Jay will move better defensive guys depending on who is going to be at the plate. You have a right-handed hitter in LaChance. Trent Caraway moves over to third. John Pearson moves over to second. Blair, who is a 6'6", left-handed hitter, then Trent Caraway moves back to second. And in both of those instances, tonight it was just your night in reference to being on one and having a scouting report and knowing exactly what you needed to do. Trent Caraway gets a put out at third. He moves back to second. He gets a put out at second base and looked very good when he did it. Brilliance by Jay, but it was also brilliance when we saw him do that in 2023. You moved Jordan Thompson over to second base, and you moved Gavin Dugas to shortstop. Thompson never get a lot of outs. He's got a lot more range than Dugas. We've seen Jay Johnson do this, and when he's done it, whether it be tonight or whether it be in a game 3 of a national title game of a College World Series final versus Florida, to have that level of success, that's when you know Jay's really getting his hands involved, and that's when you know that Jay is really in tune of what he wants to do here. So in the second inning, you have Caraway getting 2 putouts and a 5-3, 4-3 putout, and then Taki comes up, and then Kase Evans would get his 4th strikeout of the night. I want to stop in reference to saying one more thing about Jay in the second inning here. Look, man, it's so easy to get lost up in the season, lost in the sauce. It is so easy when you're not having success, as LSU had over these last couple of weeks, losing 2 and 3 to Vandy, losing to McNeese, losing to ULL. There's a lot that can be said, and there's a lot of things that we don't talk about. You know, I think we brush over so many times. We look past and look over and just make the simple statement, well, Jay will figure it out. Well, this is Jay figuring it out. You're seeing it play out in real time. Guys, the truth of the matter is, when we talk about LSU baseball, is that I feel like, and if you've listened to any press conference from Jay Johnson, he's been feeling it. He's been feeling it, right? Like, I mean, the statements that he's been feeling it. You know that. I know that. Everybody around the country knows that. We know that better than most because we know the man better than most. I mean, the guy's going into his 5th season. I feel as if that we know the man pretty damn well. This is when Jay makes these defensive moves the way that he does. That's when you know my guy's locked in. You know, I say this, but people don't like this guy, but I make the analogy. It's the LeBron Game 6 versus Boston look that Jay had tonight. I mean, did y'all see him during the interview tonight, by the way? I mean, that was a dude that was as locked in as I'd ever seen him. I mean, he was he did not give a damn. He was locked in. So we would pass by some of that. I'm sure a lot of people will just glance over that. But you've just seen him do that so much with such high levels of success that I think that we need to talk about, like, hey, man, there's nobody in the country better than Jay Johnson. You're struggling. You need to figure some things out. And tonight, yet again, your head coach, in my humble opinion, pressed all the right buttons. In a critical game 1 at home on a Thursday, you're going a day up against the number 8 team in the country, moving Trent Caraway the way that he did. Putting John Pearson, I'm going to say Josh so many times because we've talked about Josh Pearson for 4 years, man. I mean, 5 years, really. It just, you get to a place where Jay has a very unique act, whether he wants to admit this or not, of always figuring out how and what buttons to push, whether even if it's in 24. I think he definitely showed that tonight in inning 2. Trent Caraway coming up and making Jay look very wise and doing as much with the 2 putouts. The Taki strikeout was ridiculous. The 4th strikeout was ridiculous. I mean, guys, he's striking out guys in 4 pitches. That is insane. So a really good second inning by Kase Evans. Top of the 3rd, you know, I asked the question. I was like, look, you're about to go through the first time through the lineup. What do you look like going through it the second time through the lineup? He gets Branch and walk. He gets Branch to ground out to himself, a hard ground ball back to Kase Evans. He gets a put out, really good athletic play because he's a very athletic player. You get Walk to strike out for your 5th strikeout in 3 innings. And then Gamble, who was the leadoff guy, hits a line drive single into left field. Stanfield maybe could have made a play, but why risk it there? And you give up your first hit of the night. So we've seen Kase Evans this season. Here's the truth. Whether let's erase, let's completely erase the Vanderbilt start. What have we seen from Kase Evans the most? Because it's not the Vanderbilt start that we look at and say, oh, well, he's really struggling. It's been a compounding things of like, oh, man, he's kind of had some issues. At least that's the narrative. Regardless, it's been the second time through the lineup that Evans has had his struggles. Like, that is when hits have been happening, when walks have been happening, when things have kind of gone a little bit off the rails a little. The second time through the lineup had been the issue. And tonight, you start the second time through the lineup, you get a line drive into left field, and like, all right, well, let's see. Well, then you get a weak ground ball to Zach York, and you get out of the inning, and you do that to Johnson, who's one of the better hitters in the SEC. You get him to do that in 3 pitches, and you get out of the inning. Flawless inning. You're getting a lot of weak contact in the first time through the lineup, and then you struck out half the guys that you faced. So very impressive stuff by Kase Evans. The top of the fourth, this thing that we're going to talk about the most. So we just mentioned, and this is the inning that I really wanted to get to. So Kase Evans' struggles, or whatever you want to call it, whatever scenario or take or thought that you've had about Kase Evans, the real truth of the matter has been the first time through the lineup, again, take Vandy out, the first time through the lineup, he's done well. Like, statistically speaking, like all of those things, the first time through any lineup, he's done very well. Like I just mentioned, it's been that second time. So you give up a line drive single and then a weak ground ball. All right, well, you're really about to go through the heart of the order. You got Brock, you got LaChance or Willits, and then you have LaChance. Guys, again, 3 guys that are hitting all above 320. They have some power. They've hit for a lot of extra base hits. Last weekend versus Texas A&M, the heart of this order really got things going for Oklahoma in their series win over A&M. All right, well, let's go here. How is Kase Evans, who has had issues going through the second time through the lineup? Quite honestly, guys, this is the best lineup that you faced. This is the, by far, without a shadow of a doubt, no questions asked. This isn't a hot take session like, oh, well, Vanderbilt had a guy who's got double-digit home runs. Collectively, this is the best overall lineup that you've seen. So now you're coming off of a series versus Vandy where you can't find the zone. There's all this chattering. Now how are you going to respond? You got the Vandy chatter. You got the chatter out there around you that you can't get through a lineup through the second time. Maybe you're a bullpen arm. You're not a Friday night guy. I still believe that William Schmidt probably has the best overall stuff. Like, that is just my opinion. With that part being said, how are you going to react? Baseball is a game of momentum. Y'all know that. Guys, this is I was going to make a joke, but there's nobody who's been in these situations and understands high leverage baseball situations more than us. There is nobody. There are a lot of great fan bases. There are a lot of great baseball teams. There's a lot of teams with a lot of great tradition. It does not amount to what we've seen over the last 3 decades. You know that, and I know that. You have 8 national titles in the last 3 decades. No one has seen and been through more from a baseball standpoint than we have in those 3 decades. But you know that Kase Evans is highly talented. You know his stuff plays. So we have all of this rumblings. How is he going to work through it? Second time through the lineup. You're coming off of the Vandy series where you didn't look impressive at all. Now's your moment. In the heart of the order, Brock, who's one of the better hitters in the SEC, can play outfield. I'm pretty sure started in right field tonight, then came back in the game and started catching. Has double-digit stolen bases on the season. Dude is absolutely electric. Willits, who is one of the better shortstops in the country and one of the better left-handed bats in the SEC. And then you have LaChance, who's got nothing but raw power. I mean, he's got more power than that Kanye West song. Some of you are going to know what I just mentioned there. You get all 3 of them to strike out and you K up the side. That's the Kase Evans that all of us knew that when it was announced that he was your Friday night guy, he is your ace, he is your dude, that is the moment. Guys, you took 3 guys that will be drafted tonight in that 4th inning. The second time through the lineup, they had already seen you. They had already seen all the stuff that you had. The heart of their lineup, 3 guys that are extremely talented. You set them down in order, and they did not have a chance. Kase Evans' changeup was dominant. I thought his curveball was one of the nastiest pitches by anybody, us included, that I'd seen anybody have all night. I thought the slide piece was ridiculous. The curveball was ridiculous. But it was really the changeup and how he was setting up and hitting the edges on his fastball, and then just the drop off the table of his changeup was absolutely ridiculous. And in that 4th inning, the heart of their order, you got Brock, Willits, and LaChance. They could do nothing. They were the guys at the bar that was trying to go up to a dime that's the top of the line, slim waist, cute face with a big behind. And no, I'm not talking about that girl who just got canceled from The Bachelorette, Taylor, whatever her name is. I'm not talking about that kind of girl, because that girl's crazy. She's literally insanely crazy. But all of them went up and tried to take on, and they missed. Swing and a miss. They could do nothing. And quite honestly, it's not about striking out the side for me. Striking out the side is, yes, Blake, what are you talking about? It is a massive deal. It's how foolish he made them look. It was disgusting. I felt like Oklahoma in that inning, the best hitters that they have, couldn't pray their way on base. Oh, dear God, please let me hit a foul tip versus Mr. Evans. Oh, dear God. Kase Evans made them look silly. Get silly. Made them look dumb. That is elite shit. Guys, I'm trying to think. I think the only other thing that I can think about this specific season that was more elite than what Kase Evans did in the 4th inning was when you were down against Indiana in Jacksonville earlier in the year, and then you just put on an outright hit display, and you were like, damn, this team's got it. Okay, like, holy damn. Talking about that girl with a slim waist, cute face with a big behind. Damn. I don't think that there's been a more elite inning, whether it's been you at the plate or you on the mound, better than that one. That is ridiculous, guys. Do we understand? See, this is what I don't think. I hope that we all understand what he just did. Guys, those are 3 of the most talented hitters you're going to see, especially from guys, they went up against A&M and they were hitting the ball all over the place. Tonight versus Kase Evans, they were prime rock in WWE. Oh, dear God. Ridiculous. The changeup tonight was ridiculous. He made Willits look bad on that changeup. Ridiculous. Brock did not stand a chance, and LaChance was, y'all know that video, that meme, that gif of the golden retriever pissing all over himself? I felt like that was all 3 of them. Legitimately. Guys, that's big league baseball stuff. That is elite stuff. That is probably of this season. You're not going to see things more elite than what Kase Evans and how foolish he made really good hitters look. So it might seem as if that, like, oh, well, Blake's overreacting to an inning. Well, of course I am. Of course I am. That's like saying that Jaden Daniels, well, to some extent, let me say it like this. To some extent, we see elite players like Cade Anderson, Jane Daniels, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Like that fourth inning, when you have special moments, that's what that shit looks like. I mean, it was elite. If you've been around this show enough, you know that I don't like using that word, right? Like I think elite is put in a category of its own, and you got to do like something special, like Kate Anderson in game one versus Coastal Carolina, like a Jaden Daniels, like a Joe Burrow, like an Angel Reese. Like those are special things and special moments. That is one of those special moments that you're like, damn, golly. Absolutely insane. Now, I'm not done with this take. If it would have stopped right there, striking out the side against their best hitters, top 10 team in the country, a team and an average, guys, like I'm doing basic math here in my head. I could be off. But you have a guy hitting 350, you have a guy hitting 340, you have a guy hitting 320. All right, for argument's sake, you have a lineup of well over 150 at-bats, and they're hitting 330. He struck him out. So as elite and impressive as we talked about that, it's the fifth inning how he continues that puts them sprinkles and cherry on top. Because he gets Blair, the 6'6 freshman who, guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, if that young man's going to be someone to watch, I'm just telling you, that kid could be special. But you got Blair and Taki to both strike out. You turn around and the last seven batters that Kase Evans saw. So you give up a line drive single. All right, they got me there. Well, 5 of the next 6, guys, he all got to strike out. He gave up a weak ground ball to first base, and that's the only other thing. So you went through the heart of their lineup. So to recap all of this, you had a guy that's been struggling the second time through the lineup. You had the Vandy outing that everybody's like, damn, that really sucked. And then you turn around tonight, you take the narrative, you ain't walking nobody, and you go through the heart of their lineup in something that you have not been able to really accomplish all year. And the best team that you've seen all year, you shove it right up their ass, no pause. That is as impressive of a stretch as you're just quite frankly going to see. That was special. You got 5 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 guys to K up in order. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the 5 went down swinging. Want to know how good the changeup was? Guys, 5 guys went down swinging, and I'm not talking about the hamburger joint. So that is as impressive as you're just going to see. I think that you had a guy tonight, and I think, look, I'm going to let Jay and Kaysen talk about this. So I'll just say this, and we'll talk about it tonight after their postgame. I think the prep up to the game and the things that they changed with him tonight are going to be an interesting conversation piece if he continues to do this. What did you do? What are the things that y'all did to kind of change some things up? And knowing Jay probably is not going to say what it is. But they knew that they needed to change a couple of things up. Whatever it is, if this is the Space Jam, Michael's secret, whatever it was, I don't want to say juice because that just sounds too sexual. So pause. Michael's secret stuff. Thank you, Brandon. Michael's secret stuff. Whatever Kase Evans did, if it's even that, do it again. Because you're just not going to see. Are there better lineups that you're going to see? Probably. There are better hitters overall that you will see. Not much better. Elite stuff, man. Elite stuff. To end the fifth, he gets Branch to finally break up the strikeout barrage that he's on. So you got his fifth. In the last 7 batters, he got his 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. 6 of the 7. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, guys, he had 10 Ks through 5 innings. He's getting 2 strikeouts an inning. That is just that's plumly ridiculous. So you get out of the 5th. Absolutely special. Top of the 8th, top of the 6th, excuse me, the 9-hole hitter and walk had a line drive single. This was the only bad part of the night. Line drive single into the 6-hole, into the shift. If Milam is playing in his normal position, he's there and you get an out. So I don't even know how you want to consider that as bad. Gamble hits a ground ball to Stephen Milam, also into the shift, and you get a 4-3 put out. So I don't really hate Jay going into the shift on walk. I mean, it's going to be really tough to gamble up, walk, and gamble to start off with. But you're going to get out of this inning if you can do the right thing. You have Johnson that comes up to the plate, and you have a swinging third strike, but a third drop ball strike. So on the third drop ball strike, Kate Arambini is able to field it. Walk is on second base. He throws it down to first, and then you have the error by York, who's trying to throw it to third to get Walk out. So Walk is on second. You have a third drop strike. Arambini throws it to first. Walk is trying to go to third. York makes a bad throw. I think from here on out, we just need to tell Zach York to stop throwing the ball. I also think, in my humble opinion, to not defend Zach York, John Pearson has got to get in front of the runner, and he's got to block the ball up. If you go back and watch the replay, John Pearson is behind the runner. Like his legs get taken out from under him because he's behind the runner. John has got to get in front of the base and in front of the runner to, if the ball is in the dirt or if the ball is going to wind up being short, that he can block it up and keep the ball in front of him. Go back and look at it. He gets he's behind the base. He gets his legs taken out from under him, and then the ball scats by. Now, it is a bad throw by York, but I don't want to put that all on him. Big John has got to get in front of the base and block the ball up. That is how I see it. I mean, you literally got his legs being taken out. How do your legs get taken out if you're in front of the base? It's not going to happen that way, and if it's short, you can block it up. So I don't really mind the throw from York. What I mind is that he's had 3 throws that when we've seen him have to make the throw and make the play, that quite frankly, he's coming up short on each one of those throws. With that being said, the one to Kate Arambidi 2 weeks ago, that's just, you have a play to plate, he's got to hold on to the ball for the tag. The one to Cerna was god-awful against ULL. The one at Vandy to Cerna, I mean, that's got to be better. That's got to be in his chest. You had enough time, set your feet, make the throw. And then the one tonight. So 2 of the 4, I think, weren't completely all on him. However, they keep happening. John has got to be in front of the bag. He can't get his legs taken out from under him, because if that ball's short, and even if it's not short, you're getting your legs taken out from under you. What's the likelihood of, when you're getting your legs taken out from under you, that even if it's in your chest, that you're going to be able to make that catch? I think both of them, that's a teaching moment for the both of them. It's definitely a teaching moment for the both of them. So you have a strikeout that actually, and ironically, something that you're never going to see, a strikeout somehow, some way leads to a run. Now, I want to take a time out there for just a moment. Winning tonight is great. We're going to talk about that at the end. We're going to talk about it at the end and what this means. And man, it really feels good to get it. I'm with you there. But let's take a time out for just a moment. Time in the game. As we move forward, because we try to take these post games in one-game sample sizes. When we take that out and just talk about the series that is, you saw glimpses tonight of what this team can do on the base paths. They are dangerous. I think that when I see Walk, when I see this run, the player's name is Walk. When I see the speed that he shows there and you're scoring on a strikeout, that's ridiculous. And the amount of pressure that you put on right there is ridiculous. Again, we came into the game talking about this. Guys, now they're 55 out of 60 in the top part of their lineup in stolen bases. They have one tonight on you. All of that being said, moving forward in the series, the best thing that Kase Evans might have done tonight was obviously keeping guys off the base paths. So that's number one. But when he did have runners, and he did have some runners on, keeping them at bay with being longer in his delivery, being quicker in his delivery, and changing up timing was one of the better things that he did all night long. So that was a masterclass. In reference to the series moving forward, you saw a glimpse of what this team has done to everybody that they've beaten. They get runners on, and that speed kills. They got so much of it. There's not a more athletic team, in my opinion, pure athleticism that you will see. Doesn't mean that they're a great team. Doesn't mean that they're an elite team. I mean, they don't have enough. I mean, I don't think they are in the top 10 in the SEC in power, as an example. They are, as I compared them, they are the 2023 Kentucky team that you faced not only in the semifinal to go to the World Series, but the College World Series, or the semifinal. The Super Regional, the team that you faced in the Super Regional and that you faced earlier that year, they're a lot like that, but better. They're the Walmart version of that from a speed and athletic perspective. That's a teachable moment for the both of them. But you saw a glimpse of what can happen in the rest of this series. I do believe, as we've talked about for the last 3 weeks, I really think Zach York is pressing too much. I think he's trying to do too much because he's on the big stage. We'll talk about the big fella tonight a little bit longer. That one's not all on him. John can't get his legs taken out from under him. He needs to be in front of the base, catch, make the tag. If you're going to catch from behind the bag, you're going to have to catch it and go down. Catch, tag, catch, tag. I mean, that's basic baseball knowledge. So that's got to happen. All right. Let's move forward here. Brock also struck out. Dude, he got Brock. So Brock is their best hitter. How many times did Brock go down tonight? Brock had the hat trick. Jesus, I just realized that. So their best hitter tonight went down 3 times, striking out, had the hat trick. Did he have the golden sombrero? Brock. No, he flew out to left field when he faced Plog. Or was it Cowan? No, it was Cowan. You got their best hitter. Kase Evans got their best hitter to strike out 3 times. Again, the eliteness is absolutely insane. So you get your 11th and 12th strikeout of the night there as well. Impressive. Highly, highly impressive stuff. Top of the 7th, Willits would strike out swinging, the 13th K of the night for Kase Evans. My goodness. LaGrange would hit a ground ball to Trent Caraway. Blair, the 6'6" freshman. Guys, this kid's good. This kid's really good. Ground ball single into left field, but you'd also get a ground ball to Steven Milam, and you get the put out. So, again, getting weak contact, you do give up a single. It is what it is. So what? They have a single. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? They're going to put the ball in play, and sometimes it's going to go to the right place, and you get a hit. Top of the 8th. He got Harris and Walk to strike out. The bottom of the lineup for his 14th and 15th strikeouts of the night. I really wanted him to finish this one off. So you get the first 2 strikeouts, you get to a 3-2 count, and you walk Gamble. God, and that pitch was close too. I really wish to kind of cap this night off that Kase Evans would have been able to get that last 8th inning and get out of there. He was unable to do that. I thought the pitch was really close. You can't start off 3-0 to a guy and come back and get him most times. But Gamble does walk, and then Kase Evans, his night is over. So to wrap it all up, man, I mean, it was just, like I've said, tonight for Kase Evans was one of the more elite performances that we've seen. We've talked about the Cade Anderson performance versus Coastal Carolina in Game 1 of the College World Series. You had a no-hitter there too. But there's a couple games before by Arkansas. But there's just not better performances. And quite frankly, there's not a better performance from any pitcher in the country against a lineup like that than what Kase Evans did tonight. Does not exist. That is what you expect from a guy like him. But you don't expect 15 Ks either. Not against a top 10 lineup in the country. Guys, tonight is as special as it comes. You don't see performances like that very often. You just don't. Like I say, well, if he keeps doing that, then we're going to be great. Guys, he might not ever touch that again. The likelihood of somebody striking out 15 dudes from a starting pitching perspective against any team in the SEC, I mean, it's few and far between. Like, that stuff just doesn't happen. But it also tells you that Kase Evans might just be that dude, like we always expected him to be. Tonight, he finally put every single little thing together. Tonight was the night that everybody got put back on notice of why Kase Evans is special. If he struggles from here on out or does whatever happens, you saw why he is one of the best. And an absolutely fantastic display by an absolutely fantastic pitcher. Guys, you're ace. You're ace. Dominated a really good Oklahoma lineup. And something, guys, that we might not see years from now. Ty Floyd. Ty Floyd, they talk about this tonight. The 17 strikeouts against Florida in game 1 and 23. He has the most strikeouts in a game of any LSU pitcher in its history, which is just crazy to think of that level of performance in Game 1 of a College World Series against a national title contender in Florida. Guys, he's right there with it. And the thing about Floyd was Floyd actually gave up some runs. I mean, tonight, I don't really consider him giving up a run because he doesn't have an earned run. I mean, the run was given up, but not an earned run tonight. That was elite. Absolutely elite stuff by Kase Evans. And tip of the cap, man. That was one of the better performances. Guys, it might be the best performance that we see all year. Lastly, it doesn't miss me. Look, I don't think things are coincidences. I just don't. Guys, it doesn't matter if it's sports or if it's just life or business. I don't believe in coincidences. I have to be very, very well convinced of a coincidence. Like, I got to see ungodly amount of evidence for something to just be a coincidence. So I just don't believe in them. I never have. Quite honestly, I never will. It's not missed upon me that Cade Anderson's coming out party was also against Oklahoma in year 2. It's not missed upon me. And what's funny is last or 2 weeks ago, Jay Johnson said, I want everybody to go look at Cade Anderson's numbers through his first 4 starts, and I want you to go look at Kase Evans's. And guys, they were almost identical. Kase Evans and now, or Kate Anderson and now Kase Evans coming out parties. One last season and what could be one tonight came against Oklahoma almost a year ago to date. So when Kate Anderson really started rolling here and being the ace that everyone knew that he could be, and all of the expectations and talent level with Kate Anderson of what he could be, well, it started in that 9-inning performance, that in complete game shutout that Kate Anderson gave you. Now, Kase Evans didn't get a shutout tonight. Jay also didn't let him throw 130 pitches either. You know, and the one with Kate Anderson, he let Kate Anderson keep going, even when he gave up a walk. Now, Kate Anderson told Jay, sit your ass down. And Kase Evans tried to pull the same thing, but he wasn't going to let that one happen. That's what I just don't think it's coincidence that both of them are hitting at the same time. Jay talked about them having the same stats. He provides it for you, and it is, can you build off of it? Will just be the question. To end the night on the pitching perspective, Plaw came in and gave up a line drive single into the 6-hole to Johnson, but Zach Cowan came back in and got Brock to fly out, their 3-hole hitter, Willits to fly out to center field as well. He got a chance to strike out and a weak ground ball to himself that would end the night. Zach Cowan back. It's not missed upon me that we really started seeing what Zach Cowan could be a year ago in the beginning of SEC play. It's not missed upon me. You know, we get so worked up. I hope LSU doesn't make me look like a fool for kind of like, hey, man, tonight's win is impressive. Tonight's win is very impressive. All right. Let's walk through you at the plate very quickly, and we'll get to some super chats and kind of start wrapping this thing up here. So bottom of the first, Stephen Milam, we had a ground ball, to the third baseman. He would get out. But then Cam Johnson would start the game for Oklahoma. A lot of you remember the name Cam Johnson. You should remember the name Cam Johnson. He was here as a true freshman. Went to Oklahoma a season ago. Now he's their Friday night guy. To catch you up, because I'm assuming a lot of you have not seen Cam Johnson until tonight. Maybe a lot of you hadn't seen Cam Johnson until A&M last week, where he had the same exact problem that he did tonight. Well, the same problems that plagued Cam Johnson for LSU is the same thing that plagued him tonight. So you get Stephen Milam to ground out to the third baseman, but Brown, Curiel, Cerna all would walk. And it wasn't really remotely competitive. They weren't competitive at bats at all. And I thought the approach by your team was doing exactly what you needed to do. In that, hey, man, the last time that we saw this guy, and we've seen this guy before, guys like Jake Brown came in with him, Stephen Milam came in with him. I mean, like, they've seen him. So they know Cam Johnson better than any other hitters in the country because they've seen him so much. Well, you get 3 straight walks. And I thought Cerna had a fantastic at-bat. And I'll tell you this, Cerna being inserted in the lineup exactly where he was tells me everything that I need to know about what Jay Johnson thinks of him. And he had a good night tonight too. So you had 3 walks to walk the bases loaded. John Pearson, would strike out on ball 4. Can't happen. Can't happen. You got to let a walk in a run there, especially, I mean, it's a full count. I get it. You're trying to make something happen. Outside fastball, not too far off the plate, but far enough off the plate where it was ball 4 and you swung at it and missed and you would strike out. So you got the bases loaded with 2 outs. Kaden Beatty would draw a walk himself. So you have 4 walks in the first inning, and it would play to run. So an RBI for Kaden Beatty. Then Zach York, man, would strike out looking, but Cam Johnson would throw 38 pitches. I know a lot of people aren't happy with York. Guys, he's playing his worst baseball. That's right now. I think he's playing has played his worst baseball. If your worst baseball's hitting 270, then let's see. I'm really hoping the big fella can starts coming through here. I really do. He deserves it. It means a lot to him. By the way, sidebar, there are a lot of you in here that I know who you are, and you've been posting stuff on Zach York on social media. Guys, I'm gonna call you out when you start taking personal shots, especially when you start calling somebody fat. Don't do it around me, brother. Don't do it around me. I'm gonna start calling you out. Fair warning. You're about to get embarrassed on social media in front of thousands and thousands of people. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop. With that being said, can Zach York build off the 2 RBI single that he had later in the game? We'll talk about that in just a minute. So you do play to run in the first. Base hit could have gotten you more, but man, really stunk. Bottom of the second. Look, so Cam Johnson was all over the place, but defensively he got zero help. He walked Trent Carraway, but Chris Stanfield hit a chopper to the third baseman. And with an error by the third baseman, by an error by the third baseman, Chris Stanfield would get on, and you'd have runners on second and third. I should have wrote this down more because now I'm forgetting how this happened. Because Stephen Milam didn't get an RBI fly out. Oh, okay. Thank you, Brandon. The E2. Yeah, so Chris Stanfield hits the chopper. You have a runner on first and third. Thank you, Brandon. In that situation, Chris Stanfield tried to steal second base. When he does steal second base, the catcher tried to throw the ball to third. It was a bad throw, and then Carraway would score and Stanfield would advance. Stephen Milam would fly out. Jake Brown would walk. He would also have a stolen base. Derek Curiel would hit a ground ball to the third baseman and a run scores, but you have an E4 there as well. So the top of the second inning, man, you're putting the ball in play, but you're putting pressure on him. So you have a walk, you get a chopper, guy that's at the plate that's really fast. They commit an error. Good stuff happens when you put the ball in play. God knows that this team, for whatever it's worth, has been hitting the ball very hard a lot, and some of it's been right at people. I see Stephen Milam's hitting below 250 right now, and a lot of people are like, oh, man, he's hitting below 250. For me, I've watched a lot. There's like 4 innings that I have not watched this season of this team. 4. And it was the Game 2 versus Sacramento State. I missed the last 4 innings. That's the only game I've missed. Watch every single inning, every single pitch, whatever. Okay. This team, if you've watched them enough, you know that there have been times and innings and places and situations where they're hitting a line drive in the left field at 108 miles an hour off the bat, or 109 miles off the bat for Omar Cerna. Or 2 weeks ago when you lost to McNeese, Cerna's got a hit that has the ball coming off at it as 118 miles an hour right at somebody. So God knows that you're kind of due for a little bit of juju. You were due for a little bit of baseball gods. So Oklahoma commits 3 errors in the top of the second inning, which really kind of blows this game wide open. And what would be the death knell to Oklahoma, because, man, Kase Evans is just flat dealing. Put the ball in play, and God knows you're gonna get run. So 3 errors. Plate 3 runs in the inning so far. Omar Cerna gets hit by a pitch, and then a line drive single right back up the middle by John Pearson would plate another run, and you get an RBI. Mercurius, by the way, also came in for Pearson at his at-bat. And then the first guy that he sees is Pearson. Pearson hits a line drive single right back up the middle and gets a run. You got the big hit when you need it. So we talk about John Pearson. What's going to continue to keep John Pearson in the lineup? What deserves for John Pearson to get back in the lineup? Sure. You had the bases loaded in the top of the first or bottom of the first. You're unable to get the big hit. Bottom of the second, you got runners on, and you get a line drive single off of a right-handed pitcher right back up the middle that gets you a run. You got the big hit when you needed it, and John Pearson delivered it for you. So a big time there. Kate Arambidi would fly out to the shortstop, and York would strike out for the second time, and the Tigers get out of the inning, but have gotten some runs to kind of expand the lead here. Bottom of the third, Trent Caraway hit a line drive single right back up the middle into center field. Stanfield would lay down a sac bunt, but Stephen Milam would have a fly out to the center fielder, and Brown would hit a ground ball to the second baseman, and you're out of the inning. Putting the ball in play, man. You got the one thing I was happy about tonight with you at the plate, you got a lot of first guys on, first guys in the inning on. You did that a lot. You hit a lot of balls really hard tonight. Nothing went out of the park. But you got a Trent Caraway line drive. You have a John Pearson line drive. You have a Zach York line drive. Top of your lineup did nothing. Guys, tonight, your top of your lineup did nothing. Nothing of significance. It was good to see that some of the guys in the bottom of your lineup, middle of your lineup, Caraway, Johnson, York, would get base hits to give you some runs too. So that's because you know that the top of the lineup's not going to be down for long and that you can't keep them down long. That is for damn sure. Bottom of the fourth, another guy on the first to start the inning. Curiel hit a line drive single in the right center field. Cerna would hit a fly ball to the warning track. Dude, Cerna's got so much power. He's going to be so good. Guys, Omar Cerna's going to be so good. When he starts putting all this shit together, that dude's going to be good. Guys, that kid's special. That kid's really special. When it all clicks for him, people are in trouble. People are in outright trouble. That kid's really good. John Pearson would strike out for the second time with a runner in scoring position, runner on second, by the way. Kate Arambidi would hit a ground ball to the shortstop, and you're out of the inning. So that time you were unable to get it. Bottom of the fifth, York got hit by a pitch, but Caraway would hit into a 6-4-3 double play, and Chris Stanfield would go down looking. Bottom of the third, Milam, Brown, and Curiel go down in order. Two balls to the second baseman, and Brown would fly out to the left fielder. Putting the ball in play, man. I mean, getting good swings on it. Just unfortunate. The double play really sucks. Bottom of the seventh is where you ended it. So you really respond going through the second time through the lineup through the guy that relieved and Mercurius. Cerna hits a line drive double into left field. Pearson hits a line drive double into right field. A lot of people would be like, well, man, why isn't Cerna scoring there? It's a really good question. I'm going to chalk that up to freshman mistake. But you got York striking out twice and getting a base hit, which we ain't gotten there yet. But you got John Pearson striking out twice, but coming up with two massive base hits, line drives, one in the center and one in the right field. For a guy who a lot of people consider pull happy, hitting line drives hard right back up the middle into right field. It's a plus. John Pearson's going to play, and he deserves it. And he needs to stay in the lineup. Keep him in there. It's not like Mercurius isn't a good pitcher. It's not like Cam Johnson's not a good pitcher. Keep him in there. John Pearson's going to continue to play, and I think you're starting to settle this lineup out a little bit if he continues to swing the bat like that. So I feel bad for Dardar. Feel bad for Braun, but this is how it's going to be. It's how it's going to be right now. And I don't mind considering all the left-handed bats that you have in the lineup against right-handed pitching. I mean, you got Milam, you have Brown, you have Curiel, you have York. Trying to think. Because Aaron Beatty and Cerna. I mean, I don't mind another right-handed bat, to be completely blunt with you. Caraway. I don't really hate it. So We'll see. They would change pitchers twice. Smithburg and Williams would come in. And then York, after the Aaron Beatty strikeout, would hit a 2 RBI line drive single right back up the middle. Got the big hits when you need them from the bottom of your lineup. There's nothing else you can ask. You know that the top of your lineup really didn't do much. Didn't matter. You scored runs without him. You produced without him. So, guys, if I just want to be completely blunt with you, the name of the game, regardless of how it happens, is getting runs on the board. Whether it's errors, whether it's walks. I mean, basically what happened to you in game 1 versus Vandy, outside of you coming back and the theatrics at the end because Oklahoma couldn't do it. I mean, the difference tonight is very clear to me. No one gave a shit that Vandy walked all those times and scored. It's all about scoring runs. I got you scoring 39 runs in 4 SEC games. 49 runs. I don't care how it comes. 49 runs in 4 SEC games is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So we can talk about the average. We can talk about the home runs. We can talk about the RBIs. We can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. I don't care. If I would have told you what you saw with this team 2 weeks ago, hey, you're going to start SEC play, and in the first 4 games, you're going to have 39 runs, you'd be like, shit. Not this team. Not this team. What are you going to do again tomorrow? Bottom of your lineup stepped up for you tonight, and I'm glad that York got the base hit. Guys, I got to be completely blunt with you. So I've been massively avoiding like the plague talking about Zach York, if you've noticed. I haven't really talked about him. I've kind of just brushed off every single little thing about him like, oh, okay. He's got to set his feet better. He's got to do this. I think that he's just playing his worst baseball right now. I think this is his floor. What's his ceiling? A lot of people after Zach York. I don't give a shit what y'all think. I think he's playing the worst baseball that he's played. And I do think he's pressing. And what happens when he doesn't have to press anymore? Because going into weekend in the SEC is just kind of all right, man, well, I've been here before. I hope tonight's 2 RBI line drive right back up the middle gets the big fella going. We need him. Why are you rooting against a guy that we need? He needs to sit the bench. Well, guys, he's not. He's not going to. So the only thing that we can do is rally around him. It's not as if that we have not seen big-time power guys at first base go through their struggles. I mean, I remember a time that there were people that would text this phone and say, hey, man, Bear Jones needs to sit. Dumbest comment I've ever heard in my life. Now, Bear Jones has more power than Zach York, and I get that. I'm rooting for the big fella to come back and come back strong. All right, so he gets a line drive, 2 RBI single. I think if best baseball is ahead of him, I think he's going to start playing better. I do. That's my call. I hope the big fella well. I mean, I was just excited for him when everybody was rallying around him because when he was hitting the home runs and everybody was excited. And I want that for him, man. I want that for him. So really big hit for him. Carraway would walk. Stanfield would hit a fly ball to the second baseman, and Stephen Mayo would line out to the center fielder, and you're out of the 7th inning. You slammed the door shut there. Bottom of the 8th, Brown would walk. Curio would strike out. An infield single by Cerna into the 6th hole because my man's fast. But then Rucker would hit into a four unassisted double play, and you're out of the inning, and the Tigers would win the night. Look, man, it's funny. It's funny how this sport works, and it's really why I love baseball so much. I feel like the theme as we wrap this all up and get to some super chats, as like, why would y'all say this? God bless it. The reason I love talking about this game so much is the little small storylines that come through it. You know, we came into this series, we've come into the last 2 weeks and talking about how is this team going to start responding. You had a really 2 bad weeks at the plate before you went into SEC play. Last weekend, your pitching staff did horribly. Horribly. Question has always been when this team has gone through this little stretch, how are you just going to respond? How are you going to respond to the adversity that you sit in right now? And then Kase Evans goes and does what he's doing. York, Caraway, defensively, John Pearson, the bottom of your lineup, mid to bottom of your lineup came through for you when you needed it. They came through for you tonight. Top of that lineup's not going to be kept down long. Jake Brown's not going to be kept hitless a lot in SEC plays. Just not going to happen. When were you going to put your entire game together? When was the time that you were going to finally show and put everything together? Hey, man, we got a dude on the mound tonight. You just ain't winning. Yeah, man, the top of our lineup isn't really hitting that well, but the bottom of our lineup's strong enough that they can come through when we need them. When were you going to play a complete game? And on Wednesday's show, I keep saying Thursday, like today was Friday. Y'all know what I meant. On last night's show, when we did the preview of this, the question was simple. The question was, when is this team going to put a complete game together? But that's really the reason you've been beat. Because if you can put a more complete series together versus Vanderbilt, because you're winning it. You're 1,000% winning that. You're a better team than them. You're a better team than Vandy. But in baseball, when you say that, when you come off a series that you just lose, it's not a popular take. You're better than them because you have more talent than them. And quite frankly, I like Corbs, but he's not a better coach than Jay Johnson in this era. He's just not. Well, tonight, you responded by just having your most complete game of the season against a top 10 opponent. You still got a long series. So hear me and hear me now. You still have a long series. You still have 2 more games here that could easily just not go your way. However, because you need to take one more. Take one more. Win this series, and let's move on. You're on a 3-game win. You're on a 1, 2, 3. You're on a 3-game win streak. Can you go on a little run of your own? Let's go on a little bit of a run of our own. Let's see. I think that they can. All right. Let's get to it here. Omar the Tiger with a $2 super chat says, about time to throw Kate Aaron Beatty in the long grass. He's working through it, man. I mean, he's working through it. Him and Cerner are going to flip-flop. I think Kate Aaron Beatty is going to DH tomorrow unless Jay just wants to sit him. And Omar Cerner is going to be right there on his heels. Omar Cerner is coming. He's coming. That kid's going to be special. Howard with a $20 super chat says, that's what I'm talking about. Go Tigers. It's very impressive. And it's good to see that this team has it in them. Guys, I don't think, people will say, oh, Oklahoma probably didn't deserve to be a top 10 team. They lost to Southeastern. They're a top 10 team for a reason. They're there for a reason. And it's good to see that you can do that to them. Guys, tonight, really, really and truthfully, what tonight felt like, again, you got to go win the series. Tonight felt like that you stepped on their throats. It felt like you stepped on their throats. Like you dominated them. Tonight, Thursday night, you dominated Oklahoma. EK LSU, who's been a member on the YouTube channel for 7 months, says, go Tigers. Good to have you in here with us. And LSU T-Boy says, let's go Kase Evans. He's been a member for a month. Thank you for being in here. And we got a new member. Alton also became a member. Yeah, Kaysen, thank you for becoming a member. Kase's performance was special. One to be remembered for the ages. Tonight will be remembered, especially if he keeps doing well. It will definitely be remembered. Shaquan with a super chat. Why didn't it tell me here, Brandon? I don't know. You see that? You notice that? Shaquan's doesn't give a super chat. See that? I mean, on our end, but I'm seeing it on the screen, but it's showing it on the screen. Shaquan with a $5 super chat says, I could see Cerna beating out Aaron Beatty. They'll both play regardless, though, but man, Cerna is looking nice. Yeah, Omar Cerna's got some serious power, man. He's got serious, serious power. When it all comes together for him, he is going to be dangerous. He's going to be dangerous. That kid's got a lot of raw talent. A lot of raw talent. Lucas Abear with a $5 super chat says Skeens had 15 and Evans just tied it at 15 in conference. Yeah. That's how special tonight's performance is. Wasn't Skeens's against Auburn, if memory serves me correctly? Paul Skeens versus Auburn stat line. Wasn't it yeah, it was Auburn. You beat him. LSU improved to 37-8. 16-5 in the SEC. 7 1/3 innings pitched by Skeens. He was 9-1 on the season. South Carolina was the team that beat him. No runs, 6 hits, 1 walk allowed, 15 strikeouts. Insane. Yeah, that's how special it was. Shaquan says, I actually like Pearson being in the lineup. Not sure if that's controversial or not. No, I agree with you. I don't think it's controversial at all. He looked really good tonight too. He did have the 2 strikeouts, but he had 2 really big hits too. He does have some really bad swings sometimes though at the plate. Yeah, he struck out twice, but he had 2 very legit the line drive, the RBI line drive right back up the middle. And guys, the truth of the matter is that Cerna should have scored there. Like John Pearson should have had 2 RBIs on the night. So I can live with some of the strikeouts if you're gonna hit like that. Hopefully, John can kind of continue to put it all together. Zeus with a $5 super chat says Jay Johnson proved once again why he's a genius, sticking with Evans when others were wanting him dropped down in the rotation. I thought if he had a bad night, that we could definitely have that conversation. You know, people asked me this week, when are you going to start panicking? I was like, 2 more weeks if this continues. It's a long game, man. But Jay said he'd die for that. You know, he'd lay his life on the line for that kid. And then that kid went and did that. So you're not wrong, Zeus, at all. Stephen Young with a $5 super chat says, Jay said Hex bet his like on Evans. Yeah, he did. Jay just said, I'm not – brother. This kid's special. Like, y'all don't know baseball. And then Jay just is so right all the time because he knows his team, man. He knows his players. That's why. All right. We'll see you tomorrow night for the postgame. Until then, y'all have a blessed one. Peace.